We are way late tonight. I see we have Time Surfing Alien. Sorry, guys. Problem after problem after problem. I did. Devastator. Hey, Mr. Devastator. Hey, for the two people that hung out and waited, I am so sorry, guys. Broke another string. I was getting ready to start like, I don't know, half an hour ago. And sat down. I was making an adjustment on the Mackie and broke a string on the Kramer. Got a broken string on the Yamaha. And then I grabbed this one out of the case. And I have not played this guitar probably in, it's been at least 3 or 4 months. And I was struggling keeping the guitar in tune. Of course, it's got the floating bridge on it. So every time I made an adjustment, it threw something else out. So then that took about 30 minutes. And I thought I had my new mic arrangement set up. And I had one of the buttons on the Mackie pushed wrong. And this was about 8:30. And I thought I was going to make it and have everything going just as I wanted it to work. And I forgot to hit one of the buttons. And the Yamaha wasn't seeing a signal. And I'm like, oh my gosh, now what's wrong? So I played around with it, and after changing all the settings, I realized that I didn't have the control room monitor out button pushed in. So I had to go back and reset everything.
Jimmy Z says cool Les Paul.
Yeah, this is an awesome Les Paul. I love this guitar. This is the Alex licensed guitar. I did a review on this guitar, a very detailed. Some of my reviews are like over the top. This is one of them that I did, really an over the top review. Of course, you can't take the neck off. It's got one of the access cut necks. See how it's cut way in here? That's pretty cool. But we really did a deep dive on this guitar. Phenomenal instrument. I just haven't been playing it, and it's been sitting in the case. So when I pulled it out of the case, it was a little out of tune. And then, of course, I hit the bar a couple times trying to stretch the strings because it's been sitting there. So that took a little while to get it actually up and running. And I see Kurt Inscales joined the group. So it seems like everyone was kind of waiting. If I make a promise, guys, that I'm going to be on, I will be on. If I'm not on between 8 and 8:30, that means we're having a technical issue. And right now I've got my MPC turned on. And I said we were going to do some comparison. So I started about 6 o'clock getting the Line 6 HX Stomp hooked into the Mackie. The issue, I bought this little AG08. Okay, it's a little, well, they call it an 8-channel board, but in reality, it's about a 4-channel board. But it has the built-in interface. So if I wanted to run and do a true comparison, running the Line 6 HX Stomp into the guitar input, it's designed for stuff like that as a left and right input. You were going to get a stereo feed. So that was going to give the HX Stomp kind of an unfair advantage because you were going to hear stereo. You know, that makes a big difference hearing something in stereo. My other amp, it is a stereo amp, but I only had one microphone on it. So I said, well, how can I have the Akai, which is stereo? Let me see here. Remind me later. We're going to go to sounds. It's got to load sounds. So now, instead of using channel 2, I'm using channel 3 and 4. So let me click off of that. Not only do we have that, but if I turn the volume up here, sounds like my keyboard's a little low. Actually, I think my guitar's a little high. Yeah, the guitar is super loud. Let me change it on the Mackie here. Still too loud. I can see it in the meters. I was really trying to get all this set up beforehand, guys. I can see that it's still too loud. Let me do an overall correction. I turned down the output for the control room. And you can hear that I have an issue. Something's going on. That's in the board. The volume will crunch. I don't know if it's got dirty pots. You can hear it. Now, a lot of that could be this right here. I've got sometimes this mic, I always forget. This mic has a limiter and a compressor on it. So if I turn that one off, And you were 100% correct. It was the overhead mic causing the gain issue. So now I got to go back over and change my output on the control room. Hold on, guys. All right, I turned up the control room. I'm going to turn off the overhead. Now, if you couldn't notice, I'm not going to lie to you guys, that is not the HX Stomp in stereo. I took about 2 hours. I have two SM57s, and guess what else I got fixed? And Kurt Inscale was correct last night. I restarted my computer, fired back up the Mevo app, and guess what? It found the camera. Now, before I get too proud of myself, let's actually make sure that it works. There we go. Now, if you look, there are two microphones, one on each side of the cabinet now. It helps to turn on the microphone. Uh, the only issue that I really see with this is going to be my little squirrel brain. Um, Again, I keep forgetting which buttons to hit on what. And the point in getting a Stream Deck, which I haven't really gotten set up yet, was to make things simpler. My Mackie is old school, so I'm basically running 6 inputs into that left and right channel of the Akai. Hold on here. Now I have nothing on the Akai. Isn't that too funny? Hold on. There it is. That's my point. There's two boards going on. So I have basically 8 inputs going into the Mackie, and I'm coming out of the control room monitor, okay, for the control room, into channel 3-4 of the Yamaha, which has my interface in it to go to the computer. I am no longer using channel 2, which was actually designed for the guitar, because I have a direct input, like a line level input, for both the guitar and the Akai. Now, I do have the Line 6 HX Stomp hooked to the Mackie. So we can do a true comparison now, because my tube amplifier you are getting a stereo signal from that amplifier now. So I think now we can do a good comparison of the HX Stomp using a cabinet simulation, an IR, and a amplifier model, which like I said, guys, I think in a live environment, I think that's pretty much all you would need. I didn't spend a lot of time on the HX Stomp trying to get it hooked up. It's going right into the Mackie, just like the two microphones are. Of course, that's a line level out. So the gain on those two, the preamp stage and the Mackie, is a little different between the mic and the line signal of the HX Stomp. So that'll be something that we're actually gonna go over and do tonight. But that was another reason why we were a little late. I'm just trying to get things hooked up a little differently. I actually moved the mic more above me and closer to me. I've noticed that the mic sounds a lot better when it's a little closer to me. And I know everyone, they don't want to see the microphone, pretty much down in my face. But it does seem to do a little better when it's right there, if that makes sense. I don't know what you guys think. So what did everyone do today? We did, actually, I said I was going to go to the music store. The one gentleman was very busy, so I didn't speak to him about bringing a guitar home. But Linnell did get another new toy. I don't know if you can see it sitting there in front of her guitar. I got my headphones on. Let me see if I can grab it. That's pretty cool. Here's what she picked up today. It's quite cool. It's got little moons on it. So that's her new strap she bought for her guitar she got last weekend. And it's got multiple adjustment locations on it. So you can pull it through and adjust the length. And then it's got two spots here for the strap. And it's solid leather. It's very, very nice. Now, what they did is they sewed the two pieces together, and they have padding in it. But being that it's leather, the straps I use, it's more suede on the bottom with the leather on the top. This one is leather on the bottom as well. It feels like a little bit softer than the top. Well, I don't know. It's about the same. And then all the moons are stitched. If you can see the stitching on that, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. Now see, like the ones that I have are very basic. Where's my strap? I don't have anything fancy or padded like that. Mine are just like leather. Let me see if I can find mine. I just showed it to you guys last stream as I was showing the wireless. Here's mine. And of course mine's just a piece of leather. So you can see it's just got the suede underneath. It's just a chunk of leather. I don't even know who made this anymore. But I've had this thing for years. And it's super durable. But it's just black. There's no detail, no nothing. Hey man, I like leather. When she wears leather, I'm telling you right now, it's nice. It's all about the leather. Guys, I have nothing against the suede. I see the suede. The only issue with the suede is if it gets wet, it leaves little dots, and you got to sit and brush all the dots. I don't know why suede does that. If it gets wet, it gets little dots on it. And then they also have the fabric ones that are wove together. I don't really have an issue with those. I just like leather. I only have two straps. I've had that one that's probably 30 some years old, and I bought one about 5 years ago. Um, that's been really good. I both have strap locks on it. I actually have uh, the other one. I don't even know where the other one is. I think it's in the PV guitar case. To be honest with you.
Juke is on.
Hey, Mr. Juke, what's going on? Hey, I see how things are going here. When people first come in the chat, it's Hey Linnell. So she's like the background person that everyone's hey, it's too funny.
He said hey peeps first.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes it better. So yeah, we did end up going to the music store, and I spoke to the guy about, I don't remember, someone in the chat last night said the SM57 betas, they're good live mics. They're not really, we're not in a live scenario here. There's no bass player to the right or the kick drum player or the cymbals and the stage rumbling and all the people talking. So you don't have to worry too much about feedback issues. That's why the SM58 and the SM57 are so good for playing out loud. They're very friendly microphones. But in this scenario, the 57, you kind of lose some dynamics in the sound of the amp. It's not really a studio microphone. So I did speak to him about a stereo set of microphones made by the same manufacturer that makes this. This is an SE. And I think he said the stereo pair was right at $200. He didn't have any in, but he said that there's some on order and it'd probably be about 2 weeks and they'd have them. I told him to go ahead and set me a set aside so I could look at them. And then I remembered that I had another SM57 beta here at the house. So I dug that other 57 beta out and I just did a stereo setup with the 57 betas. And it's, on this end, I have not been able to go, I can't listen to the feed that you guys hear, okay? I always go back and listen to the stream. On my end, the amplifier sounds the best tonight that it's ever sounded as far as what I hear on the headphones. And that one's hard because what I hear on the headphones, I'm also hearing the amplifier in the room bleeding through the headphones, the signal. So sometimes I'm hearing a mix. I'm hearing the feed from the AG08, but I'm still hearing the room volume, that gets past the headphone, the seal on the headphone. So I still hear the room noise coming through the seal. So it's not 100% the headphone signal that I'm hearing. So just me putting the headphones on, I'm hearing the feed from the AG08 versus what I actually sound like. So I know there's a difference.
Kurt Skill said there's a hum.
Yes, there is a hum. That is my tube amp. If I go over, Con, can you come in here for a second? I'm going to have her, hold on, we're going to see if it cuts off. We're going to switch cameras
I
here.
don't want to be in the camera.
The two little buttons at the bottom, the black one that says Pro Valve, on, you see it? Cut those both off. Is that the hum that you were hearing? I'm asking Kurt Inscale, do you still hear the hum? And did it disappear as soon as she turned off the amplifier? Yeah. Yeah, that's just the, there's a lot of stuff going on in that rack. And I found there is a limiter and a noise gate and all that in the system. So when I actually play, I use a different channel, okay? But I found when I'm using the limiter in the gate and I'm miking, like I'm miking here for YouTube, it seems like I can't get a balance, if that makes sense. So I disengaged it, so there's a little bit of noise. I get that. You know, like I said, it's an older amplifier, and considering how much gain I'm actually running on that amplifier, um, that amount of hum, okay, is okay. Now keep in mind that this is a phantom powered mic, so it'll pick up a pissant farting in the corner. It really will. So for it picking up that hum, uh, it's okay. You're hearing it from this mic more so. If I don't know what my computer just did. Um, when I turn this mic off, you'll notice the hum pretty much disappears. The 57s, they do hear it. Wow, what's this computer doing? They do hear it, but it's not as bad as this microphone picking up the hum. I noticed that as soon as I went to this mic, it was picking up more of the amp hum versus the other mics I was using. Because I had a 58 I tried, and then I also tried one of the Beta 57s the first time. Then we switched to the 58, and then I bought this mic. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. Oh, yeah, well, you know, I got an ant colony living in the corner there, Devastator. You know, uh, in this area, I don't know how it is in your all's area, they call them stink bugs. And when they came, they took over. The first year they were here, they were everywhere. Everyone had a problem with them. And when I mean they invaded everybody's house. Right here where I live, they're not that bad. But the house where I'm working, oh my gosh, the stink bugs, like you would not believe. We open up a wall, and the whole inside of the wall is just full of these little critters. I don't know what the technical name of them. I heard they come over on a shipping container from China, and they just when they got here, they just spread like mad fire. Um, but yeah, the first year they came, we had a bad problem with those little guys. So I don't know what you guys think of the new of the stereo tone, and then being able to run it into the Mackie and then into this. It definitely sounds more refined to me, if that makes sense. Hey, Mikey, what's going on, man? So tonight we're definitely going to do a comparison, and I do not. I thought I had a pedal, okay. Well, I know I have it. I just don't know what I did with it. Where I could plug my guitar into the pedal, and it's an A/B switch, and it sends the signal to A or B cable. I planned on plugging the guitar into that, and then A going to the line 6 stomp, and then B going over to the rack. That way all I would literally have to do is push the button and switch between it. I have no idea what I did with it. Maybe I can find it. So tonight we're literally going to have to unplug from the rack and then plug into the HX stomp. Actually, I can do that because you turned off that amplifier. So let me go over and grab the input cable.
Like you said, did I miss much?
Actually, Mikey, we started late tonight. We actually didn't start until about 9:30. So, no. All right, I have plugged the guitar into the HX stomp. And remember at the beginning of the live stream, I said I made changes. And one thing I didn't double check was the feed on the line 6 stomp. So let me double check the feed. And it looks like I have those channels muted. It sounds really noisy. And I'm only, according to this, I'm only getting one side. So more technical problems, guys. And the board is way over here, so it makes it kind of hard for me to reach over there. All right, let's see what we got there. Yeah, we definitely have a feed issue. Let me double check the board. And we are way too loud. I think I need to make one more adjustment. All right, I don't think that's Curtis Gill says, "Holy hell, loud!" Yeah, like I said, when I made I was getting ready to go live, and I forgot that I had pushed the button on the control room feed to mute it. I had everything set, and then I lost the feed to there, and I changed everything, and then I realized it's a Mackie VLZ 16 Pro, and I realized I had the control room out muted, so I ended up changing everything. So let's see what we got here. So what I'm hearing now, being that this is IR, when I took my headphones off, there is no room volume. Okay? The only thing I hear now is the acoustic sound of the guitar. So I can actually leave the overhead on as I play because there is no room volume because it's an HX stomp, So I don't know which one you guys like better. This is an artificial amp. There are no tubes. There's no cabinet. There is no power amp. This is my guitar plugged right into the HX Stomp. And the HX Stomp is just going to the Mackie because I only have two inputs on the Yamaha. Okay, the Mackie is sending the signal to the Yamaha and then you guys are getting it. But the Mackie is doing nothing. The EQs are all set to 0. All it's doing is diverting the signal from keyboard, the actual rack amp, and the HX Stomp to hear. Needs more effects. I can cheat and give it more effects. Hold on. I do have effects in my PA. So what I'm going to do to give it more effects, I'm going to send out on AUX 1 to a Digitech Studio 200 and give it just a little bit of delay or reverb. Delay and reverb. So let me turn up the AUX. Which channel is that? Is that better? I can't hear nothing. Does that mean it's not working? It should be working.
He's picking.
Oh. All right, guys, that is a fake amplifier. That's what it is. It's a fake amplifier. Let me turn this. So that is not a real amp. That is a simulated amp. Now I'm going to mute those two channels, and I'm going to unplug the guitar and I'm going to plug it into the rack over here, and we are going to listen to the rack. Now, since it is on a cabinet, I am going to have to turn off. The overhead. And I've got my headphones wrapped around my cable here.
Curtain Skill says, I hate to say it, it's about even with your tube amp on YouTube.
I hate to say that it's about even with your tube amp on YouTube. It probably is. Keep in mind, guys, YouTube, you have to compress the sound, okay? And you're not, it's like listening to an MP3 file versus an LP or a DAT cassette. You know, you're compressing the signal. So there probably isn't that much difference. There probably isn't. All right, I'm going to turn off the overhead. This is the real amplifier. There is one major difference. And you guys are right. I do hear that there are more effects on my rack. I would have to go into the HX Stomp, and I'm sure I can go into the HX Stomp and just increase the amount of actual effects. I cheated it a little bit. The HX Stomp is actually getting some Digitech Studio 200 effects, because you all said that earlier. It needed more effects. So I was going out of AUX 1 stereo to the Digitech 200 to give it more reverb and delay. So I guess this week I can try to give the actual factory more effects on that. But the major difference that I'm seeing is with the tube amp, since it has a cabinet and mics, I have to turn this microphone off. So I can't really talk to you guys and play at the same time. With going through the HX Stomp in the Mackie system, there is no noise or sound in the room. So I can sit here with this microphone on and jam and talk, and it doesn't affect anything. So as much as I like my tube amp, and I'm going to be honest with you, playing it, I feel the difference. I can feel the difference between the tube amp under my fingers. And I'm not going to say it's legacy because I don't feel that it's slow. That's not what I'm feeling. I'm feeling more in between the notes. It seems to be fuller, okay? And I'm not rushing. I don't even know how to explain it. It's a fuller tone, and it seems like there's more tone between the notes on the tube amp versus the HX Stomp. Now, that could be, again, you guys said there's not as much effects on it. But I do feel a difference under my fingers. And you guys are guitar players. Maybe you guys can come up with a different way of, I don't know how to put it, if that makes sense. I'm not going to say it feels slow, because it doesn't. The HX Stomp does not feel slow. I don't feel like I'm waiting for the note to come out, or it feels. I don't feel legacy, if that makes sense. But I do feel. I don't even know how to describe it. Maybe that's what it is. But I don't feel like I'm waiting for the note. It just. I don't know. It doesn't. The tube amp makes me want to just play, you know. The HX Stomp, I hear it, and it sounds good. It's just, it doesn't give me that feel that I just want to tear the guitar up, you know, literally, you know, do some massive shredding, the little bit of shredding that I can do. It just seems like I want to play more aggressive. There you go. I want to play more aggressively through the tube rack amp than I do the HX Stomp. Hopefully that was a good comparison. And that's what I've been saying. I think when you go out to a bar, you take this thing, and that's what's going to happen. When you go front of house, okay, and the dude's back there, he's got his headphones on, he's running the board, he's going to go, that dude needs more effects. So you depend on your front of house guy, just like what I did here. You guys, oh, it doesn't have as many effects. He's going to have something up there on his AUX 1, 2, 3, and 4 going to a multi-effects processor that he can juice up your sound a little bit. He can EQ it a little bit more at the board, especially a good board. You're going to have a sweepable mid where you can dial in that frequency and cut it. He can do all that at the board. But with the HX Stomp, you can also go out to like a little, you can go out on the headphone output to a little monitor, powered monitor on the stage. That's your signal, okay? And then if the sound guy wants to make a correction, he can make a correction back there. You know, so you take your guitar, okay, your cord, your strap, the HX Stomp fits in your guitar case, and you take your little powered monitor, okay? Guitar, case, everything's in the case, and you got your monitor. You set your monitor down, plug the monitor into the HX Stomp, plug your guitar into the HX Stomp, run 2 cables from the HX Stomp, and give it to the sound guy. You're set up, you're ready to rock and roll. I mean, I'm really starting to change my opinion on certain things, but I still like my tube amp. Like I said, it has a sound that the HX Stomp, for me on this end, isn't doing. But I think in a live scenario and doing YouTube, the ability to me being able to talk and jam and interact is easier with the HX Stomp. Yeah, Balance is saying response. That could be it too. I don't. Do you guys play the HX Stomp or use modelers into a PA? Now, granted, I get it. What do they call those? FR speakers. Basically, that's what that is. It's just a PA speaker with a built-in amplifier. Mikey, I think it would probably be impossible to tell in the mix. And this is an HX Stomp. This is it's just the regular HX Stomp. It's not the big one. It's not the big Helix floor pedal. It's not the Helix rack mount. Hey, Steven. We got another guy. There we go. I think you're 100% right. In a mix, it would be very difficult to tell. It really would. And the ease of transport. Um, I don't think. Well, I think I've said it before. I don't think I would play out anywhere and take my four speaker cabinet and my rack equipment. I would most likely just take this little HX Stomp, and I don't really have an FR cabinet, but I could see where I would probably not get an FR. I would probably look at an EV or a JBL powered wedge monitor and just slap that in front of me and go out of headphones right to that little EV or JBL or something of that nature in front of me, and then just run direct in front of the house. That's what I would do. Uh, like I said, I'm depending on you guys, but in my headphones, I'm listening to the two. I mean, is there a difference? Yeah. Uh, but is there a difference to warrant? You know, like I say, I don't want to be a hypocrite. You know, are tube amps going to die? I mean, I hate to say that. Is that the future? Is modeling going to be the future? I'm really starting to think so, guys. Especially for live performers. I think the tube amp is going to be for those people that just want that little bit of something that the modeler right now isn't giving them. And I think that may be a matter of time, and they get that. They'll get that response, or whatever that difference is. They're going to figure it out. I don't know what you guys use this type of system. Kurt in scale probably does. Now I already have a Mackie board. I have a Yamaha P7000 power amp. I have a Crown, which was some people called the budget hi-fi amp. It's the I forget which Crown this they had. Basically, it's a rip-off. Crown bought another company that made high-end amps, so they took that Class C circuit and modified it and created these. That's the amp that I'm running through the Mackie right now. And then I have two wedge, the array drivers. I have, now you guys are going to laugh, I have Wolfdales. If you haven't ever heard of Wolfdale as a driver, they make very, very, very nice drivers. So I have two Wolfdale drivers, and they're a 15-inch driver with a horn. And this was part of a church array. And when the church closed up, they had 6 of them. I ended up buying just 2. I wanted all 6. I just couldn't afford all 6. So that's my PA system. And I get, if you don't have a PA and you buy an HX Stomp, you got to either use headphones or you're kind of out of luck. Because when I first bought it, I hated it, and I didn't understand it. I tried to plug my guitar into that, and then I went into at the time I had a silver or something Black Star. It was a solid state amplifier, and it sounded awful. And what I didn't understand was I was using a cab sim and an amp sim in the Line 6 Stomp, and then I was going into another amp, and it just sounded awful. And then someone said, well, are you running an RR and all that? Because you're running into another amp. That's designed to run into a PA. So once I figured out to not run it into an amplifier and run it into the Mackie through the PA speakers, I was like, wow, I like this thing. Oh, okay. On Skype. Let me double check my Skype. Skype probably isn't open. That's why I didn't get it. Let me type in Skype here. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, let me get to my display capture here. And when I'm in this, I won't be able to read the chat. What do I got going on here? There it is. So this is Kurt's room. And look, there's an ugly mug right there on the TV. I see that guy. Oh, wow. That is a nice little setup. Oh, honey, he has the bass I want.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see it?
I can't really see on my phone.
You have the bass right where my little pointer is. They made this bass in a 5-string, and I am hunting for one. I want it in this color. I want the exact same version, but I want the 5-string version that they made. I want one so bad. And every time I find one on Reverb, it just, they want stupid money for it. And the ones on eBay end up going for over $1,000. So I haven't been able to get one yet. And I'm trying to see what else he's got going on here. I don't know what this red thing is here. And it looks like he's got a board here. I see the board, and he's got his keyboard set up. And he's got his rack of guitars here. And he's got his drivers set up here. And I don't really know what this is. It's kind of hard to read. It looks like another cabinet and a driver, and probably a bass bin right here. Let's go to the next picture. Oh, he's got a nice drum set too.
He said, I moved my studio into my camper. Wife kicked me out.
Ha! The wife kicked you out, so you moved the studio into the camper. That's too funny. Yeah, this is a nice little setup. And then the next picture, he's got a carver drive. You know, I have one of these right here. And you're the only other person I've ever seen have one of these. I have that. The little pick holder that went on the mic stand. By the end of the first set, mine was empty. Oh, I love the Flying V right here. I got to get me one of those. That's awesome.
He's got a cool setup.
Yeah, that's a very nice setup. I mean, that's really nice. We do have a drum set. If you look at some of my very first videos that's in here in the living room, the drum set used to set in front, well, to the right of my amplifier. It's my daughter's drum set. It's an Elisa set.
Kurt Skill says, pick holders. I have a ton of them.
Yes. And just so you don't think, here we go. Let me go to this camera. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on. Here's my hands. I'm not moving anything. I'm going to grab the other camera, and I'm going to show you all mine. It actually does have picks on it. And right there's mine. You're the only other person that I've ever seen that has one of those. Let me see if I can unplug here. Sometimes this camera will die if I go to move it. So that's basically the operation right here. That's the AG08. Since I've got the battery powered monstrosity here, here is the MPC Key 61. When I say that's an awesome keyboard, it's not a keyboard, that's a music workstation. And then here, let me take this out of the way. Here is this little guy. In the top rack is a Alesis EMQ 301 Spectrum Analyzer EQ, 2 Digitech 200s, the Mackie board, and then underneath we have mic preamps, gates, limiters, the Mayato MIDI controller, and my Crown amplifier with my DA30. And then, of course, everyone knows the guitar amp. Below that, that's my SWR. That's my bass amp. And then this is extra backup equipment. That's my Yamaha, another tube sweetener, a backup SGX 2000, a Lesis Multiverb 4, and then of course my rack mount tuner. And then that's my hollow body, my Fender FMT, Linnell's first guitar, her Firefly LP, and of course everyone knows her new guitar she just got. And then we've got some guitars over on this wall. That's my Nashville Telly, my Jackson 7-string V, and then my highly modified FFM. And then not much over here, my blown up Black Star amp and my PV Penta. And then all my junk, which is a ton of junk. Everyone's got to have a ton of junk. It just seems like it multiplies. Now I got to move the camera here and get it back in frame. So that's a quick little tour of the room. Let me switch cameras here. Yeah, when I was playing out live, the pick holder was a godsend for me. You know, it wasn't until really I stopped playing out that I saw people would take double-sided tape and they'd put on the top of their guitar right here or on the bottom of the guitar, and they would stick picks on that tape. I think a lot of people do that now. I don't know if you guys have ever done that or not with a double-sided tape and you just stick them to the back side of the guitar. I don't know. I've never done that. It seems like as you played, you'd bump them and they'd come off. Either that or they would stick and you couldn't really take it off. I don't know. And I'm looking at Mikey. Same with drums. They're converting DW drums, rolling drums now. It's all going digital. You know, a lot of the digital stuff, even when I was playing out, our drummer, he used triggers. And I always thought the triggers sounded better than the real drums. So he had a system. He used dead ringers inside of his drum, and then he would put a towel on the top of the drum, or over the drum ring on the top side, and then we would mic it. One mic would hit like the two top toms, and he had two lower toms, and then we had two overheads, and then we shared a mic on the hi-hat and the snare. And then, of course, we had a mic in the kick drum. But then we had triggers on all of it. And the sound guy, well, the mics on the drum went to a small Mackie 8-channel board. And then that was mixed there. And that went to the main board behind the bar. And then the triggers went to the main board. That wasn't affected over here because they had a rolling unit up at the main board. And we would do... It was less than 20-25% of the analog drum signal versus the digital drum signal. It was easier to control. It was easier to put effects on. Running low gain on the microphones like that, just give it enough to make the artificial drums sound more real because you got the smack, the initial hit of the acoustic drum, but then you got all the effects and the constant in tune digital sound. It just worked better. Hey, we got another one. Renee. If you guys would go down and hit the like button, and then always leave comments and likes in the videos, guys. Like I said, this is for us to kind of hang out, chill, and do experiments like we did tonight with the HX Stomp. Oh yeah, the Tiger Firefly. Yeah, that is one awesome $300 guitar. It needs a little bit of work. I haven't touched it since I did the review. The action's a little high on it, but in reality, for $300. It's a good guitar for $300. I think you can take that guitar do a really good setup on it. When I say really good setup, just go through and set the guitar up properly. Maybe do a fret polishing on it, and that's it. I would just take it out and play it. It seemed like it held pretty decent tune. It's got the cheap Firefly strings on it. So what I was going to do is I was going to get a better set of strings, do a really good setup on it, and see how it performs. That tremolo is the cheap Floyd Rose tremolo. It's the one below the special. So I'd be curious to see how well that tremolo actually performs versus, you know, a true FR1000 bridge that my Epiphone Alex license here has, or my Kramer. I was going to be playing the Kramer tonight, but broke the string on the Kramer right before we started the stream. So now I'm down two Kramers and the Yamaha and my one PV. All need strings. So, and I have strings. I just need to take the time and I'm going to have to do that. I don't think I'll do it tomorrow, but I'm going to have to take an evening and go through and string up some guitars. So I'm going back and seeing if I missed anything. Yeah, if anyone wants to send pictures through Skype, you guys can just hit me up on Skype, and then I will go to Skype and we'll share the pictures on the channel. That seems to work really well. So tell me what your all's thoughts on the new Fender is, because I'm thinking about going to Shandor Music, and I'm thinking about asking them if I can take a Fender Strat Standard home. I think I want to do a review, and the main reason I want to do a review on one is I watched some YouTube videos on it. Everyone really seems to be downing this guitar. I think at Shenandoah Music it's $5.99 for the standard. So it's basically $150 more than a Squier Vintage Vibe. So I'm kind of curious to see if the guitar is better than a Vintage Vibe. Now I know the Vintage Vibe is more, it's vintage. It's designed to be the 60s or 70s Strat copy, where the standard is more of a modern take of the Strat.
Got a comment that says, I just saw the Firefly website. They have a Les Paul style with a banana headstock. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I did see the Les Paul guitar with the banana headstock. We did talk about that once before. If you're going to do that, basically that's a ripoff of the Gibson Kramer Assault. But when Gibson and Kramer did it, because Gibson owns Kramer, so it's an authentic LP body style in arch, and they put the Kramer banana headstock on it, but they also put the Floyd Rose tremolo in it. So they also put a reverse banana headstock on the LP. I think if you're going to do that, just go full bore on it. I don't really understand the banana headstock with a standard bridge on it like that. I mean, it's cool. I don't know what they're asking for it. I have an Assault, and believe it or not, I was going to get the Assault out and play the Assault tonight over the Epiphone, but the Assault was buried behind two other guitars, and I was going to have to move the nightstand and stuff and dig the Assault out and play it. But it's a reverse headstock with it's a Floyd Rose 1000 bridge, Seymour Duncan pickups. It is a beast of a guitar. It really is. But everyone knows I'm more of a dark. I like rosewood and I like ebony. Not saying that maple's bad. One of my favorite guitars here has maple, but it has a different feel under my fingers. And the Kramer Assault does have a maple fingerboard. So I think if that thing actually had a rosewood or an ebony fingerboard, I would play it more. Yeah, the newer ending story, Pawn Strings. I'll check it.
The never ending story.
Never ending story. The monitor's so far away from me, it's hard for me to read. Yeah, Firefly, the problem that I'm having with Firefly, and I was going to go over this last night, but I can go over it tonight. Um, let me, I'll talk while I look this stuff up. I'm trying to see. Linnell did, what was that under? Documents? Pictures?
It's under pictures and it's under
Screenshots.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you all my bank statement, guys.
That's only part of it.
It's only part of it. So I'm going to go to display capture. And I don't think that this is the first time that this has actually happened.
It's the top one and the bottom one.
So right here, guys, here's the payment to Guitar Gardens.
It should be
Okay.
the bottom one, $296.
All right. This was the price of the guitar. Okay. Without shipping. Okay. Down here, here's another charge from PayPal. $296.91. That was the price of the guitar with shipping. Now, both of these things were on my account at the same time. This one posted, if you look, it was done and finished on 2/24. Okay? It was done. This one stayed on my account, okay, for over a week. They had already taken $300 payment for the guitar. So we emailed them. And they're like, well, you only bought one guitar. I'm like, right. I only bought one guitar, but you've taken $296.91 from PayPal, and PayPal's charged me $296.91. But I'm seeing this PayPal again from you guys for $269.91, which was the price of the guitar. And I think they offered us, what, $10 credit?
Yeah, they give you a $10.
They give me a $10 credit. And they said, well, the other one's in process. And I'm like, right, we know it's in process. We don't owe you any money. You've already debited the account, the $296.91.
Yeah, but that $269 came out also.
Okay. And the $269 I could not use in my bank account. They had already froze those funds. $269.91 was frozen in my account. I could not use it because it said in process. Well, the $296.91 had already come out. It was done. So we sent them another email. And they were like, well, it's in process. I'm like, right, but you've already been paid. Well, eventually it dropped off.
After 7 days.
Yeah, after 7 days, this dropped off. I have no idea, but I don't think that is the first time buying a guitar from Guitar Gardens that this has transpired. Okay? And if you guys are looking right here, Shandor Music, this is the Funny Honey's little Chapman. That's her Chapman she bought. She bought the Chapman, and what else did we get? Got something else. Oh, the suspension thing for my microphone. So you can pretty much tell what she paid for the Chapman because this was with tax. So you know what a suspension holder costs for a microphone. You can kind of figure out what she paid for the used Chapman. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else has had that problem with Guitar Gardens.
Curtis Gill says they charge you for shipping after the fact.
Well,
The $296 included the shipping.
Well, they didn't do that. The $296, the 290 something was the guitar and shipping. Okay, that come out of the account immediately. The $261 was just the price of the guitar, and that stayed posted on my account. The guitar showed up, and that evening the $261 come off and it disappeared. They never took the money. My point is, did they take the money? No. My problem is they were basically held up $600 in my account for a $300 guitar for over a week. So let's say I had an electric bill and I had the guitar, and it said, well, I can swing it. I'll get the guitar. and then they freeze another $261 on your account. You can't pay your electric bill. You don't owe them the two. They've already taken the $291, but they had a hold on $261 for over a week. That's my problem with it. They didn't take the money, but I had no access to those funds for a week, even after they took the $300 payment for the guitar. Um, if anyone else has had that problem with Guitar Gardens, I think that's the second time that I've had a problem with Guitar Gardens. I just wanted to bring that to your all's attention, and you guys can actually see what I paid for the guitar. The guitar was $291 something with shipping and tax, and like I said, they give me a $10 credit. I don't know how they give me a $10 credit because there's no $10 credit on my bank statement.
Yeah, it's on there.
Is it on there?
Yeah.
Linnell says there's a $10 credit on my bank statement. So okay, I paid $281 for the guitar.
They gave you the tax back.
Yeah, they basically gave me the tax back. So
Guitar.
if anyone else has that problem with Guitar Gardens, hey, we see Ted talk. If anyone else has ever had that problem with Guitar Gardens, let me know. I think this is the second time that they've held up funds on my account, and basically it looked like I was paying for the guitar twice, and when the guitar shows up, they drop the other charge. Like I said, my issue with that is they took the $300 for the guitar the very next day. And then the $261 charge just stayed on the account the whole week. Then the guitar shows up at the door, and the following night it drops off. Well, that makes it to where you can't use that $261 because it's a pending transaction. So the bank considers that spent, even though it's still sitting there. That's my issue with it. As far as customer service, what I found with Guitar Gardens, they usually ask they'll give you $10 back, $20 back, $30 back. Sometimes they'll do $35 or $40, but they usually $30 seems to be their go-to amount. If you have a problem, there's a scratch or a bad tuning key, or they'll say, "Would you take a $30 credit?" They've only returned one guitar, and I had to pay shipping one way, and then they did not charge me shipping to reship the guitar, but I had to pay shipping for the return guitar back to them, and they sent me a new guitar, and I didn't have to pay the shipping. So technically, I guess I paid shipping twice, because I paid shipping to ship me the first one and then to ship it back. So technically, I don't know if that's what ended up happening. So their customer service has always been pretty decent as far as I'm concerned. They're a little slow, and their conversion, it seems like there's definitely a language barrier there. But they're bad for always offering $30. We'll give you a $30 credit. And then the start of their email is always, "We're so happy that you're enjoying your new Firefly," or something of that nature. And then the topic starts up. "Oh, well, could you send us pictures?" So then you send them pictures, and then keep in mind there's usually always a full day or 2 days in between. So you send them the email. It's a day and a half. They send you, say, "Well, can you send us pictures?" You send them pictures, then it's a day and a half, 2 days. And then they'll come back, "Well, will you take a $30 credit?" Then you email them back yes or no, then that's 2 days. So what I've found on resolving issues usually takes a week, 2 weeks, due to the legacy of the email exchange back and forth. They have never offered a phone number so where you can call in and resolve it immediately. So you're playing email tag with them. But I get it. That's how they're keeping the cost down on the guitar. That on the guitar, they don't have, customer service agents. They don't have really a warranty department. It's probably 5 or 6 guys working out of a storage unit or a heated and cooled unit somewhere. They're housing the products that come in and just shipping them out from there. I get it. I guess you can't ask for too much. I'm just letting you guys know what happened as far as me purchasing this last one. And the one, if you look back, I ordered a Telecaster from them that come in with a cracked body, and instead of even dealing with them, I ended up selling a guitar for $100 to a subscriber. It actually, the glue joint was separated, and he didn't seem to care. And I paid $200 for the guitar, and I just sold it to him for $100. He got a heck of a deal, even though the body was cracked. And then I didn't have to pay shipping back, and then get another guitar and do the 2 weeks ordeal with Firefly, seeing what they would do with it. So I've never technically returned a guitar and asked for my money back. I have returned one, and they sent me another one. And that was because I had OCD, and the grain on the guitar was literally going crossways to the neck. And it was a translucent finish. So I'm sitting there looking at the guitar, and the grain on the guitar is going this way. It's going through the body crossways. And I'm like, I can't do this. You could see the finish on the guitar like this one. You could see the grain. And I'm looking at the grain, I'm looking at the neck, and I'm like, I can't. My OCD's kicking in. I can't. And I sent them pictures. I said, the grain's crooked. Well, when they sent me the next one, it was better, but it was still not straight. It kind of leaned a little bit, like that. And my OCD was still kicking in on that one, but it wasn't horrible. Ended up selling that one. That was one of the FFDCs, the double cut. Basically, it's a Les Paul with the double cut. It's cut out on this side too, and it had P90s on it. It was a nice playing guitar. I've got one of the cream ones. I liked the guitar so much, I just didn't want the translucent finish because you could see the grain was wrong. So when they come back out, I bought the yellow one, and I have it downstairs. I'm modifying it. So you're buying an inexpensive instrument, but they could change the orientation of that block of wood on the CNC and at least set it up to where the grain aligns to the neck. Yeah, exactly. Steven's got it right. They'll give you a 30. Well, they used to do that. A year and a half ago, they gave you $30 towards your next purchase. Now, what they've been doing with me the last two times is they discredited my account. There was no, well, enter in this code and we'll give you $30 off your next purchase. Like this $10 that they credited me, that went right to the bank and was credited back to my account on the bank's end. So they seem to have changed that a little bit. I don't know, like I said, if anyone else has had trouble with them as far as that's concerned. But we're going to go back to doing some jamming, guys, because I literally spent 2 hours getting all this hooked up. So I have to remember all the buttons that I have to push. And since there's new people in the group, tonight's live is comparing a real tube amplifier, which I'm pointing at right there. Okay, that's my rack mount tube amp. And we are comparing that to a Line 6 Stomp, HX Stomp. And there is no amplifier, there is no speaker. I plug the guitar directly into the HX Stomp, and the HX Stomp goes into the AG08, and that's what you hear. Right now, you're hearing a stereo. Okay, I have two microphones on my cabinet on my tube amp. So we're making it fair because the HX Stomp is stereo as well on the output. So to do a true fair comparison, I do have two microphones on my cabinet, and it is live in the room. So we're going to play the actual tube amplifier, and I'm going to have to turn off the overhead mic because there's a volume in the room. Okay, that's the real amplifier. So the only issue I have is I have to go over and literally unplug the guitar, and I got to plug it into the HX Stomp here.
Kurt says you need a drum machine to jam to.
I need a drum track.
Drum machine.
I actually have a drum machine. That is my Akai. I got to go in and do some sequencing. I could make that happen. Okay, I now have the guitar plugged into my Line 6 Stomp. Now I have to go over and unmute those channels. Now with this one, there is no signal in the room. So I can actually leave this microphone on because this microphone cannot pick up the guitar. There is no amplifier, there is no preamp, there is no power amp, there are no speakers. It's the guitar into the HX Stomp into the interface. So there's the two versions for everyone that has just come into the chat. What you just heard is 100% fake. There is no guitar amp. That is all modeling. What do you guys think, the new people that just came into the chat? Do you hear a difference? Now, granted, the HX Stomp does, we don't have quite as much effect-wise on the HX Stomp. Everyone has pointed that out. I'll have to go into the HX Stomp and increase some of the effects. But that's the HX Stomp, and the first one that you heard was my real rack mount tube amplifier. Do we have any more monsters, hon? Yeah. Hey, you know what I really want? I'm talking to Linnell. Can you make some hot chocolate? She's going to make me some hot chocolate. Yes, I know I am spoiled. She spoils me rotten. And that's what it's supposed to be. And Steven says, that's good. You need a drum machine to jam to. This is my keyboard. Let me see here. Drums, drums, drums. Drum synth. I don't know if I can multi. Takes it a second to. It's been a while since I got into all this. I think I gotta go back. Nope, I got it all messed up now, guys. Yep. I know that there's a section where I can actually go through electric piano, basics. I'm trying to find it. Not very entertaining sitting here watching me try to find the studio strings, organ, stage EP. I will work on that this week, and I will find out where the parameter is to actually get into the drum machine. If I go to menu, I see step sequencings. I'm sure there are samples. Let me see if we can find a sample. Menu, looper. See, it's got all kinds of stuff. Next sequence, G-Link, sample edit. Nope, that's not it. Program, view track, sounds, looper. It's got to be under this, but I'm not seeing it. Pad mix. Ah. So we do have some stuff that we could. But those are pre-made samples. So nowadays, guys, no one really writes anything. This thing has like over 1 million samples. So basically, you load a sample and you can just cut, paste, cut, paste, cut, paste. That is today's music. No, I don't think anybody really writes anything anymore. A lot of the stuff that you guys hear on YouTube, it's just cut paste. And I hate to say that, but there's so much stuff that's cut and paste. It has really come to the point where everything is digital. So since this is a music workstation, you can take that sample and you can break each individual track down, and it'll show you where that note starts. Okay, the exact point where whether it's a 64th note, 128th note, and exactly in the measure where that goes. You can shift the location of where it stops anywhere in the measure, and then you can increase its length and have it stop at any point in the measure. You don't even really need to be able to play the keyboard. You just paste in the locations in that measure you want the notes to play, and the length of that note. A lot of people write music like that. You take the sample, it comes up on the chart like that, and you can rearrange and move and splice. I would probably say at least 50% of what you hear on YouTube is cut, splice, sampling. I haven't really gotten into this. This keyboard here is so far more advanced than the keyboard that it replaced. When I first got it, for the first month and a half, I played it a lot. And I haven't played it too much in the last year. But I had a Korg M1, which had an 8-track sequencer and recorder. This thing is just so far past the T1, T2, T3, the M1 that I had. It is on a completely different level on what this thing can do. I think it's a 30-some channel recorder, and then it's got a 1 terabyte hard drive plus a half terabyte. I put another hard drive in it. It's like I said, the samples and just the overall. Let me see if we can get into. Yep, I just had it right there and I lost it. I just had it and I lost it. There it is. I don't know if it's hard for me. Let me grab the other camera and I'll show you the screen on this and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we're going to grab the other camera here. I'm going to point it down towards the keyboard. So let me go into this one. So if you look right here, this is the sequenced section. Okay, this is the individual tracks, and this is the record, the auto, generic parts, hyper, and then you can click into any of these sections and you can get into the actual meat and the potatoes of what that track is doing. You can actually send this over to the monitor as well. It has an HDMI out, so you can put all this right on your screen monitor. So if I come here and I come to main, sounds, go to fabric, awakening. So these would be your keyboard sounds. Piano. Oh, I got my cocoa, guys. Thank you, baby. So right here we have some pads. So as you play, you can assign any type of tone that you want over here to a pad. Of course, over here is your recording section. Okay.
I don't know how you pronounce his name. He's from Israel. He's on. He likes your channel.
Yeah. Really, guys, if you're not trying to spend above $2,000 on a keyboard or workstation, I think this MPC Key 61 coming from someone that had a Korg M1. This is just a next level keyboard.
Mikey wants to know if you're a keyboardist.
I am not a keyboard player. I mean, I can play basic stuff. But I just love this thing. Piano 1. It takes it a second to load. That was a lot of complaints that the Akai had, was the time it takes to actually load the sounds. Now watch, we got a sound. Now I'm going to change the sound and watch how long it actually takes. Actually, that wasn't a good. Now that seems like it's pretty quick, but its main complaint is it takes too long to change sounds. So that's our sound. Did you catch that, how long it took? See, there's a little bit of a delay. So the major complaint on the MPC 61 is the amount of time that it takes to change. and my keyboard is just going crazy. It is just past knowing all this stuff that's in here. So that's just in fabric, okay? Yeah, I don't. It's kind of hard to see. If you look here, each one of these are different banks of sounds. So we were just in fabric. So you've got hype, DP4, studio strings, bass line. So this is all your bass synth. If you want to write anything with a bass guitar, you would click on that. And these are all your bass guitar sounds. Okay? And then, of course, you have your stage piano, your drums, fabric, open synth pianos. And these are just, see all these open blanks? They're open. That's stuff that you can program yourself, or you can add other programs to the Akai. So here's electric. If we go into electric, chorus, and then here's all your chorus tones. It's almost crazy how much stuff that's in here. Modern. So I don't know how many people are really into the keyboard thing, but nowadays having a keyboard and being able to write and do on a keyboard, it's just night and day, if that makes sense. And I saw Kurt Inscale had 2 keyboards on the left. I'm curious, I couldn't see what brands he actually had. Oh my God! Someone has still an M1. The M1. That was mine. I got rid of my M1, and I have this now. I can't, even though I'm saying this is leaps and bounds ahead of an M1. The M1 is like a DX7. Okay, there were certain synths that just changed the industry. The DX7 was one of them. The Yamaha DX7 will always be an awesome keyboard. The sounds that thing generated and the songs that the DX7 are used in, those sounds you immediately, that's a DX7. The M1 is just like that. The M1 changed keyboarding. There were a couple other ones that did it, but the DX7 and the M1 are truly just industry standards. Where the M1's going to fail is its workflow and its ability to play complex sounds. Like if you get into this one, let's go to main, menu, sounds. If we go into the Fabric X, the problem with the Fabric X is it takes so much memory, okay, for these tones and the sounds that they're getting on the Fabric. It was so bad that if we look at the screen, I got one of the camera on. They actually made a detuned version of Fabric. It's called Fabric XL. And they took the sounds and they tried to make the sounds work using half the amount of memory. They're not as ambient sounding, they're not as full sounding, but if you're having restraints in your song, let's say you have 32 tracks and you're trying to use Fabric, you've lost a lot of the memory, okay, because you're using Fabric. Well, you can use Fabric XL. And like we were just talking about in the modeling, once everything's in the mix, are you going to tell that you lost some of that ambience, some of that fullness from one sound to the other sound? And we see that if you look at the Fractal, the FX3, they have the Turbo, which has twice the processing and twice the memory. the more memory you have, the better the effects can become. The more ambient, the reverb, the more, you know, the more the delay is just going to sound natural sounding. So you are, even though I have basically a terabyte and a half, okay, you're still limited on what you can do as far as your storage capability on some of the songs that you do. But I'll work on it this week. Maybe I'll do some drum tracks, and we can do some basic stuff. It's, you know, it takes a while to program and do everything, but I'll try to write something out on the keyboard, maybe do a bass, a guitar, something, and we can play around with that next week. But you know, this channel is about gear and music. So whether it's keyboards, bass, I like bass, guys. I don't know if you guys play bass. I got a 5-string bass. I love playing the bass. That's why I've got the SWR. You know, being a musician, you know, we play a bunch of different stuff. Yeah, and I think it just makes it fun. I mean, I'm not a great keyboard player, but I like playing it. You know, I like this one especially because I can throw down like a little drum track, play some basic key things to it, add a bass thing, and then do some guitar work over it. And before you know it, you got like a little song going on, and you can do it in 15, 20 minutes. It's not really difficult. And oddly enough, my M1 came from my brother who passed. He played piano and organ at church when I was a child. So you don't play the M1 at all? I mean, it's really a heck of a keyboard, and its sequencer inside, even in today's standards, the sequencer that thing has is actually pretty good. Like I said, its main issue is going to be storage. You're going to be limited on the storage, and I don't think my M1 you were able to add like a hard drive to it. I think it was all chips, like your computer, like RAM. You had to put RAM chips in it. I'm pretty sure that's how the M1 was set up. Oh, I love hot chocolate. My mom played piano and organ in church my whole childhood. Yeah, I think I've said it before. I've got the little cheater chart behind me, uh, behind my monitor here. It shows basically all the chord. I had two. The one fell off. The tape got old, but it tells me about basic chord structures. You know, A minor, A third. You know, all the different A's, all the different B's, C's. You know, your flats. And then the other chart showed you your diminished and how to formulate chords and stuff. So with that, I always found it easier sometimes instead of trying to learn stuff on guitar, I'll take the charts and the keyboard and I'll try to locate certain patterns on the keyboard and then I can transcribe it over to the guitar by the root, if that makes sense. Sometimes I find that easier than actually trying to pick out certain things on the actual guitar. Not at anywhere near his level, he was a natural. He used to break into the church, and so eventually let him play regularly. Yeah, that's no big deal, man. Like I said, I think being able to play, a couple different instruments really opens up a lot of new things, especially on guitar. You know, everyone talks about Eddie Van Halen and how he played. I think originally he was a piano player, and it changed the way I think, in my opinion, it changed the way he approached the guitar, how he saw the fretboard. I think he based a lot of things, on the keys, understanding the note structure of the keyboard and then transcribing it, learning guitar, if that makes sense. I think that's why he had such a unique playing style. It was more rooted in piano basics than guitar basics. I could be wrong about that, but that's kind of my feeling on it. Yeah, I do too. What I have access here to, I have drums, I have a keyboard, I have a bass player, and bass and guitar. So I have those four instruments that I have access to here at the house that I can play. And I haven't been playing my bass It needs a bad setup. It needs a set of strings, and I just haven't gotten around to restringing the bass and putting new strings on it. I really need to do that. I have a nice bass amp. I got an SWR amp with an Alesis quadriverb for an effects pedal, effects unit. So it actually does a really good job. I can't complain whatsoever on it. So I also have two sets of drums combined.
E-drums.
E-drums. Yeah, that's what we have. I have a set of Alesis drum set. And if you look back in the chat, when you guys go back, I don't know if you were here when Kurt Inscale sent some pictures through Skype. We had Kurt's little studio on here. Showed a couple pictures of his little studio. He's got a nice setup. He's got his electronic drums, two keyboards, got his guitar, setting up his PA system. It's a nice setup. He said his wife kicked him out of the house and it's all in the trailer now, which I'm taking over the main level. I thought about that. I said I was going to fix the rooms up downstairs and move everything. My stuff's too heavy. So I'm going to move the bedroom and the living room to the basement and just take over the main level of the house for music. It just makes sense. I'm not going to lug a 100-pound tube amplifier down a bunch of steps and put it in the basement. uh, Nitro mesh. Nitro mesh. That was Alesis, wasn't it? I think the Nitro mesh was Alesis, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I figured. Yeah. When we went to buy, it's not my drum set, it's the daughter's drum set. We went to buy it. I fell in love with the Roland set. But the Roland set was like $1,700. I just too expensive. But there was a difference. The sounds were better, and the actual drums themselves were better. The way the sticks bounced off the heads and the feel of them, they felt like real drums. The Alesis ones we have, they might even be the micro mesh. I'm not sure which kit we bought, but they work just fine. I got no issues with it. Now the puppy dogs are starting to go crazy. I'm trying to see here on the chat window. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with this thing tonight. Here we go. Yeah, the dogs always sometimes they get carried on. They hear something going on and
It might be the wind too.
yeah, I don't know where you guys are at today. The wind today, it's been like 50, 60 mile an hour winds. The trees are blowing sideways. It's been really windy here. All right. And the temperature's supposed to drop tomorrow. It's been actually very warm here, but now it's supposed to drop down into low 30s again. I have $500 in both with the expansion packs. The expansion packs were $100. Each bought used off marketplace for $150 each. Oh wow, that's a deal. Yeah, I bought mine at it was at Guitar Center, I think is where we picked ours up. Max Pro is nice. I don't know that one. The ones that I saw down there, they had Roland, Alesis, and they had something else down there that was digital drums. But the Roland really was the nicer of the two kits. They had one Roland kit there that was like $4,000. That thing was crazy nice. When I say crazy, but that actually had cymbals, okay, and then also had digital signals that cymbals that had both, so I could kind of see it. And that had 3 top toms, a floor tom, a snare, kick drum, 2 crash cymbals, a ride cymbal, and then a hi-hat. But they were regular cymbals, but they had triggers as well on them. So that was pretty cool. I'm seeing Mikey's thing.
You were talking about it was windy. I think it's supposed to be it was here too. Tombstone, Arizona.
Yeah, Tombstone, Arizona. I'm gonna take these off, guys, because right now I don't need it because we're not running the HX stump. Yeah, the wind here has just been crazy. Yeah, Elisa's. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Elisa's. They've kind of changed over the years. I've got a bunch of Elisa's processors.
That's what he says the Max Pro is apparently Elisa's.
Yeah, the Max Pro is Elisa's. Yeah, I'm a big Elisa's fan. I've got an Elisa's Miniverb 4, Miniverb 2. I have one Elisa's Quadraverb. I have a Quadraverb 2 and a Quadraverb Plus for digital effects. And then I have two Digitech Studio 200s. These are all older effects units. You know, nothing wrong with them though. They were working man effects units, especially the Quadraverbs. They were phenomenal, made by Elisa's. I'm going back and seeing what else I missed. Yeah, I don't know if Kurt Enscale is still in the group or not. He may have left. I don't see him posting now. But if you go back in the video and you look, you'll see pictures of Kurt's. He's got a nice electronic drum set up. And I want to say, I think that was a Roland that he had set up. I could be wrong. I was looking at the pictures. I have 10 drums, 8 cymbals, and 4 drums are dual zone, as well as 4 dual zone cymbals. I even have a cowbell effect. You got the Elisa's, Kurt? Yeah, so everyone seems to be running the Elisa stuff. There's nothing, I mean, like I said, Elisa's they make great stuff. My drums are Elisa's DM10 kit and a Roland kit combined. Okay, well that makes sense because I was like, okay, it's Elisa's, but when I saw the picture, something there reminded me of the Roland. So you've got it all mixed together. Well, I'm pretty sure you could take the Roland main brain and use the Elisa's pads, and you could probably mix all that stuff together. All the pad is the trigger anyway. So you can always just use the trigger and then update your sounds and your module at a later date. Or just add to the module. It sounds like that's what Balance has done. He's taken 2 kits and just, modified the sounds on both to make it one big kit. It kind of sounds like that's what he's doing. I think ours, the one we have downstairs, I think has a hi-hat, 2 crashes, a ride. I think it's 2 toms, the floor tom, the snare, and the kick drum. I'm pretty sure that's the kit that I have downstairs. I think it only has 2 top toms. I can't remember now. It's been a while since. It used to set up here, but the living room started getting too full, so we had to move some stuff downstairs. Well, I'm trying to see how long we've been online, and
about 2 hours.
Yeah, the chat window tonight has just been really strange on YouTube. It comes and goes, and I haven't quite figured out why that is yet. Like right now, it's not showing the actual chat itself. There it is. So this week, guys, I'll go through the Akai and try to do some programming, and I'm gonna probably restring one of my guitars. Yeah, the wind's blowing everything over here. Ballard says, my upper set runs my rim shots and my lower set is my normal 8-piece. So are you using, you've got to be using two different brains, right? Or did you go out and buy a different controller that has more inputs? Or are you using two smaller units and just combining the output in the PA on the backside? I guess it really wouldn't matter as long as your left-right goes to a mixer and you join it all together at the mixer and then out. You wouldn't need one controller as long as you had a way of bringing all that stuff together to mix it. I don't see where it would make a difference. Doing the exact same thing here tonight with the guitar amp. So I think what we need to do next, guys, I would like to somehow be able to have people come on the channel and share and be able to actually talk. I'm going to start researching how to do that. I know other channels do it where they do split screens.
Vance says 2 different sound ranges all run through Studio Drummer through a Focusrite Scarlett, looks like 18120.
Oh, so you're not even really using the modules that come with it. You're going directly to a completely different module. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, that makes sense. See, I don't know how to do all that. Back when we were doing it, there were rack mount units that had multiple inputs for all your triggers, on the stage. We didn't actually have electric drums. We just had triggers on our acoustic drums. And the unit we had was a Roland. It was a 2U Roland unit, and it had like 16 different inputs. So you just plug your triggers into those inputs, and then it would feed out of that to the board. Steven says, I spent all last month restringing and cleaning 30 guitars. Holy mackerel. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pick probably 3 or 4 guitars and do some restringing. That way we have some guitars other than the ones I've been playing. I'm definitely going to put strings on the Kramer. I like playing that one. And my Christmas present from 2 years ago, the Yamaha, I'm going to put strings on that because I want to play that guitar. I haven't played that for a while. And then, of course, I got the Firefly over here. I'm going to put some strings on. So I don't know which guitar I'll do this week. I'll probably do the Firefly and the Kramer. And maybe the week after that, then hit the Yamaha. I had a Alesis D4 rack unit that I had triggers and acoustic set when I played live. Yeah, I remember the Alesis rack. We had well, it wasn't mine, it was the drummer's. So every person in the band kind of contributed. So the drummer had the Roland unit. I just remember it was a 2U, and it took these cards. He would slide a card in the front of it. It was like a mini disc type card. I remember it was some kind of computer card that went directly into the front of the unit. That thing was really cool. It did a lot of different sounds. Of course, this was, 92, 93, somewhere in that ballpark, maybe late 94 that we were doing all that. Kurt Inskill, I played drums and lead guitar and bass live, all in different bands. Oh, wow. Now, the one band I was in, I played one set on bass, and the lead singer played bass on the other 2 sets. But he had problems with the bass lines and singing on certain songs, so we grouped those songs up and I played bass on it. I was the rhythm guitar player, so the lead guitar player kind of filled in when I was on bass. And during that band, I played drums on one song, and it was a Beastie Boys. We played Beastie Boys. I don't remember which song it was, but I remember it was a Beastie Boys tune.
Kurt
Um,
says, Kurt says I play keys about as good as you, Avery. Talk about keyboard.
yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you can. That's the great thing about keyboards, and you're doing it in the fashion that we're doing it. We're not. I'm not going to ever go out and play live on keyboards, but I can use the keyboard as a synth and a workstation to write music. Okay, that's my primary purpose behind the Key 61 and the M1 was to write music. I don't need to play efficiently. I need to be able to write drum tracks, bass line tracks, and some basic keyboard parts and sequence it together and do recording with. And for my needs, the Key 61 will do all that flawlessly. Um, and I do like playing it. Like I said, the first month or two that I had it, I wasn't even playing my guitar. I was playing keyboards every night. And I noticed a big change in my ability to play just in 2 months. And it's like anything else. You have to, it, playing keys, playing bass, playing guitar, you've got to do it every night to stay good at it. And if you don't play every night, it is what it is. But if you want to get really good at something, you got to play it every night. You really do. Kurt Inskill says, I have three keyboards, but two of them are not MIDI boards for my DAW, and the main is a Yamaha something. Don't remember off the top of my head. It was big dollars. Yeah, Yamaha makes good keyboards. My daughter has an MX. Is it an MX-49?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's the MX-49, and that's an awesome little keyboard. She has that and two what they call powered studio monitors. They're Elisa's, aren't they? I think those are Elisa's studio monitors she has on her little MX-49. I think. And that thing sounds awesome. It just comes out right to the cable goes to the one speaker, and then there's a cable, I guess that's where the amp is in the one speaker, and then there's an output of that one that goes to the other speaker. But that thing sounds awesome. I love that keyboard. And if you look at the old videos, you'll see her drum set setting right here, and then right in front of that window is her MX-49. That's how the room was set up for a long time. The whole living room was just pretty much a music room. Yeah, I think, believe it or not, I think a lot of people write on the keyboard and transpose to other instruments. The Schecter Solo 2 Apocalypse. Let me type that in. Solo 2 Apocalypse. I am looking for it. Solo Apocalypse. And of course, it's coming up with doomsday stuff when I type it in Google. Ha! That's too funny.
Oh, excuse me.
Let me put Schecter in. Okay. Yes, I have played that guitar. I played that guitar when I was up at Sweetwater. That is an awesome guitar. So we'll go to Sweetwater here and display capture. Let me switch it over. And we're going to maximize. So here it is at Sweetwater. Looks like they have three. 8 pounds, 2 ounces. 8 pounds 10 ounces, and 8 pounds 15 ounces. So these are definitely Les Paul body styles. Definitely on the heavy side. That's the front. That's a pretty cool looking finish on that guitar too. Close up of the headstock. There's the inlays. I like the neck joints like that. I like that.
Devastator says, what were your impressions of the neck and body carve?
This right here is what I like about this guitar. How it's cut out to the neck. That is a really slick joint. And it's easy to get to the high register notes, and it's real comfy in your hands.
Devastator says, swamp ash body.
Yes, that's one of the reasons why it's so heavy. It is on the heavy side. It looks like they have one here, the one that we're looking at right here. This one's 8 pounds 2 ounces, but this one here is 8 pounds 15 ounces. So that is a big difference in weight. So there's the back. That's a big difference in weight. And I'm looking at this right here. It looks like it's a one-piece body. So you were definitely paying a premium for that. But I'm not seeing a seam there. And there's that joint. Let me close this out. There's that joint right there. Yeah, it plays easy. It's heavy.
Steven says he loves his Omen Extreme.
Before you buy that, I would look at the Sire L7.
Well, he has that Omen Extreme.
I would look at one of these. And the only reason I'm saying that is the neck carve itself. If we go on the back of this one, see 8 pounds 5 ounces. All of these are on the heavy side as well. But if you look back here, Sire's neck carve is very, very similar to the Schecter neck carve. When I say very similar, it's almost identical. Okay? And at this price point, you can go in and put any pickup that you want in it. As far as playability, both of these guitars play extremely well as far as fretting and the action of the guitar. I don't think anyone's going to say that the Sire isn't going to play just as good as the Schecter, if that makes sense. But you're paying half the money for it. If you can find a finish in the Sire, and you want that massive metal sound, rip it out and put some Seymour Blacks in it, or some DiMarzios, or some Fluence pickups in it, and just create a monster. They have it in a couple different colors. They got the gold top, and of course this one, the L7 Tobacco Burst, and then you can get black. Now it doesn't have the wild finish that the Apocalypse has, but these are great playing guitars. But look, it's the weight. All these guitars are just heavy. They're just heavy guitars. Now the one I'm looking for is the L7V. Let's type that in. So I'm wanting this guitar. And yep, 8 pounds 2 ounces. Well, nope, they got 8 pound 1 ounce. So that's 1 ounce lighter than they've been having. The 8 pound 2 ounces was the lightest weight one they had. And here they got a certified open box for $546. Now, of course, this is a P90 equipped guitar. I know it's a completely different guitar, but that's what I'm looking for. And of course, this one has the exact same back carve. So whether you get the Schecter or you get the Sire, I'm telling you, both of these neck carves back here and the way it hooks into the body, it's just, they're awesome. Now I don't know what your feelings are on the Sire. If we go back, let's go back and see the. So the L7, it looks like they got white, black, gold top, the blue, or this burst, tobacco sunburst. None of which have that metal feel that the Schecter's going to have. I get it. It's a completely different look, but they're going to play very similarly as far as the way the frets feel and the way the neck feels. Go back to OBS. And I'll get my chat window back up here. So I forget who even asked about the Schecter. Devastator. So I don't know what you think about the Sire Devastator.
He said thank you for the input, Avery.
Yeah, I'm just saying I've played both, and I would say this. Believe it or not, the two Sires I've played versus the Schecter. I'd say the one Sire played right on the mark of the Schecter, and the other Sire that I should have bought actually had a stupid good feel. And I've talked about that guitar before. It was used and they wanted $500 for it, or $550. And I said, no, I won't pay more than $500. The guy goes, well, we want $550. And I'm like, well, I can buy it new for $650. And he was like, well, we want $550. And I said, well, I'll give you $5. And they're like, nope. And I should have bought the guitar because it played phenomenally. But you could buy one of those and, stick whatever pickup you want in it. Do some custom wiring, put some push-pull pots on it, split some coils. You've got another $600 that you could put in that guitar, pickup-wise, whether it's Fluences, maybe some EMGs, or like I said, there's blackened pickups, the Margios. There's so many different things that you could customize that Sire to. It doesn't have the look though. The Sire's a more traditional look. That's what's funny is they've got the modern cut on the back, but they've made it very traditional up front. That's why I want the P90 one, because it's going to have a very traditional Les Paul P90 sound with the modern neck, the modern jumbo frets with the modern cut down at the base of the guitar. So you're going to have all the modern feels with the traditional P90 pickup. So that's kind of what I'm. And the new Sire, they've changed. They've got the new L7V. They've got a red one coming out. You should go to Sire's website, because Sweetwater's still behind. They haven't listed the 2025 colors. So on the L7 with the humbuckers, Sire may have come out with a new color. I know they've come out with two new colors for the L7V, the one with the P90. They've got the red and the blue, and the red one is just sharp looking. It's a solid color. It's almost like a translucent red with gold behind it. It's a beautiful color. So they might have come out with a different color on the L7. Yeah, you could put the Floyd Rose FRX on it. I don't think Sire, if you were going to go that right, and you want an LP guitar with a Floyd on it, you guys are going to make me go in here and dig out my Kramer, aren't you? Let me go see how difficult it will be to get this Kramer out. Give me 1 second. I'll go get you the ultimate shred Les Paul. it wasn't as bad as I thought. Here you go, guys. If you want the ultimate shred Les Paul. And you can see it has a flame maple top and purple burst. It is a beautiful guitar.
There's a really long delay because you're not even back in the screen yet.
Let me.
Well, maybe it's mine because Devastator said that's a beautiful guitar.
Let me plug it in here. And we will. I gotta put my headphones on. This guitar has not been played in a very long time. So I'm sure it's going to be out of tune. You see how bad it is. Give me a second here, guys. This guitar has not been played in over a year, and it's been in the case, so here's the tuning. I don't think that's too bad for sitting in a case for a year, pulling it out, and just tuning the one string a little bit. I can't get the headstock all in the camera. Let's turn it a little bit. There you go. kinds of mistakes. But if you're thinking about buying a Les Paul, I think earlier in the chat we talked about the Firefly making a Les Paul with a banana headstock. That's kind of a rip-off of this guitar. This guitar has the Seymour Duncan JB here and the JB SH4 here. It does have split coils, okay? Split coil for this pickup, split coil for this pickup, and one single tone. This is the Floyd Rose FR1000, okay? Of course, we have our reverse banana headstock. We got one string tree and some lockers. And on the back, of course, you got your trucks, get your tool holder here for your Allen keys and standard tuners. And you can see the body's really thin right here. So it does not have that big step that the Gibson has. This is only about 1/8 of an inch here. It's very thin. So let's try a split coil. So we're going to split this pickup by pulling. So let's go up to our neck position. Split the coil. Humbucker. So what do you guys think of the Kramer? May have to jam out on this one until I fix the other Kramer. And Kurt Inskill says the Les Paul with the hockey stick headstock at Firefly is a Alva Novo clone. The guitar is way older than the Kramer's 1980s. Yeah, I know Gibson did make the banana headstock Les Paul. I don't remember. I don't think it went over too well back when they did it. I think that was in the 70s when they did that, wasn't it? I'm not too sure on that. Gibson tried a bunch of strange things that didn't go over too well with the Gibson community. You know, Gibson actually made, in the late 80s, a Super Strat. And it had the Explorer Beak headstock with basically a Strat body. I never played one. I've seen pictures of them, but I've never actually played one. And again, you know, it comes down to the diehard Gibson people just didn't really care for them, and I think that's what's prevented Fender and Gibson both from being a creative guitar company. Because as soon as they do something that isn't Gibson or isn't Fender, you know, the diehard Gibson Fender people, they get on them. Oh, this isn't a Gibson. Oh, that's not how Fender does it. So it kind of locks them into this little box where they can only make X products because everyone downs it. And we're seeing that with Fender right now with the new Indonesian standard. I don't know. I'm going to take this guitar. I'm going to take the Epiphone in. I'm going to leave the Kramer out. And since we're on that topic, I'm going to grab a different guitar. And we're going to talk Fender for a second. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to grab my Fender. If you have not had the opportunity to play one of these Fenders, I highly suggest going out and picking one of these up and playing it and see if you like it. This is Fender's Les Paul. That's what it is. This is Fender's version of the Les Paul. This is a Fender FMT. It is a set neck. Look at that neck joint. It's the only Fender Telecaster that I know that has a set neck. Very easy to play. I love this neck joint.
Curtain Scale says Fender and Gibson are stuck in the 50s and 60s. Not worth the price, in my opinion.
Yeah, Fender is starting to break away a little bit. And guitars like this are proof of it. You know, Fender gets away with it. This is a set neck Telecaster with humbuckers. That's a great guitar. Gibson seems to really have a problem being stuck in the 50s and 60s. It seems like their fan base doesn't want any part of it. Fender, they build the guitar like this, but then they don't advertise it. No one knows about this guitar. Look at the binding on the heads on the neck. Look at that beautiful rosewood fingerboard. Look at the big dots, the big inlay dots. Look at the color that's in those guys. The beautiful flame maple top on it. This is a $1,100 instrument, $1,000. Great guitar. Let me put my headphones on because we are playing through the line 6 here. So I have no volume without my headphones. And of course, it looks like it's all wrapped up in a knot. And we have nothing for whatever reason. And it is out of tune. Oh, it helps to turn the... I am definitely going to have to do some tuning. Now there's the difference. The Kramer sat in the box for over a year, was in tune. This has been on the wall for, I don't know, maybe 3 months that I haven't played it. So let me get it in tune real quick. I can't hear it, so you guys are going to have to put up with the bad tuning. Wow, that is way up. Let me see if I actually have my tuner up here. It is passed out. Let me unplug from the HX Stomp. And I do have my tuner, but I don't see that the power plug is anywhere near the tuner. Let me see if I can find the power plug. It's not looking good. Alright, you have to give me a second. It is way, I must have had it in some alternative tuning. That would be my guess. Give it a second to stabilize here. It does not want to go in tune. Alright, we'll try that. It's as close as I can get it without an amplifier. It's already out. All right, it's close enough. So, how many people have heard of the FMT? It is a fixed bridge guitar, and we do have coil splits. At least I think we do. Yep. So you do not have individual coil splits. It's just the tone. So this would be your three-way switch. So this should be single coil at the bridge. So we go to humbucker mode. The reason I bring this guitar up, guys, if you watch your YouTube, you know, everyone's talking about the new Fender being made in Indonesia. Well, Fender's been making guitars in Indonesia with the Fender badge on it for years. That's where this guitar is made. Look right on the back. Made in Indonesia. Fender's been making this guitar for close to 10 years in Indonesia. And it has the Fender name on it. So I don't understand why everyone's having such a cow over the new Strat Standard being made in Indonesia. Fender's been doing the Fender name in Indonesia manufacturing for quite some time. This is a great playing guitar. Now, granted, this guitar costs almost twice as much as a Strat Standard, but the Indonesian factories are quite capable of making a great guitar. There's no reason why they can't. You know, that's where this is made in the same plant as the Standard. And this is a great guitar. There is nothing at all. I mean, I always wanted one of these. That's the neck pickup. We'll split the coil. you guys think about this guy? And what do you think about the what I brought up as far as Fender being made in uh, Indonesia? I mean, you can ask Linnell. I drooled over this guitar for quite a while, and it's this joint right here. Remember, we were just talking about the Sire and the Les Paul having that, you know, nice, comfy corner. Is this one as comfy as, let's say, the Sire and the Schecter? It's a little bit different carve, okay? But the concept is the same. This one's a little bit more abrupt on the angle, where the Sire and the Schecter is more smooth right to it and then angle kicks out. But both super nice as far as how smooth they are and how the set neck works. I mean, it's a completely different style instrument, I get that. But if you're looking for a Les Paul, okay, with a fixed bridge, this is a nice alternative to a Les Paul. You know, and it's a Fender. It's a Fender. Fender. You know, does the name on the headstock matter? No. But, you know, my little squirrel brain, I wanted a Fender. And this is the only Fender I own. The rest of my Fenders are actually Squires. But this one is a Fender, made in Indonesia. Let me put it back on the wall here. At least I'm tuning all my instruments tonight. That's a good thing. At this point, guys, I might have to break out the hollow body and jam on that a little bit.
It's 12:15.
Oh my gosh, Linnell just said it's 12:15. Now, granted, some people it might still only be like 10, depending on where in the United States you are. Curtain scale. That's too funny. You know, it's not. It kind of looks like it looks like a Telly, but I always tell people it's not a Telly. It is Fender's interpretation of a Les Paul. That, I mean, that's in reality that's what it is. It's designed to compete directly with the Les Paul. Yeah, there is nothing Telecaster about that thing. It doesn't feel like a Telecaster. It doesn't sound like a Telecaster. It doesn't play like a Telecaster. It plays like a lightweight Les Paul. If you like the sound of Les Paul and you like the feel, you know, you might want to look into an FMT because it's a lot lighter than Les Paul and it has the Les Paul feel and sound. That's how I kind of see it. Someday I want a real Gibson Les Paul. I would love to have a Gibson Les Paul with P90s in it. But that's why I'm looking at the Sire with the P90s. I think with the more modern cut on the back and the P90s, I think that actually for me might make a better instrument than the actual Gibson would, if that makes sense. Kurt, I am too. I am 100% a Super Strat guy. Yeah, I think you know that. Is this a Super Strat? No, this is not a Super Strat. This is, you know what this guitar is? This is, I want to piss off all the Gibson Les Paul boys. That's exactly what this guitar does. One, you put a reverse banana headstock on an LP body, and then you stick a Floyd Rose in it, and it upsets every Les Paul owner ever. And that's just how you get a rise out of them when you break this one out. Yeah, that's a Super LP. There you go. I like that. But yeah, I'm more of a Super Strat guy too. But like Linnell's guitar that you just bought, that's considered a Super Strat. You know, even though it doesn't have a Floyd Rose locking tremolo, that guitar I consider a super strat. And it's got, I won't call it a Tilly headstock, but it's a Tilly-ish headstock that's been turned upside down on a strat, super strat body. I mean, that to me, that thing is really cool. I love that guitar, and I like how it changes colors. So yeah, I'm all about super struts too. I played a PV Nitro for years. That's probably my favorite instrument ever. Is the Nitro Active. I love it. I love that guitar, and I would play it more often. But it needs some guitar work, and I really don't want to put new frets on it. So the guitar kind of stays in the box, and I use it as memories. I do have another Nitro that I'm getting ready to start restoring. So after I restore that guitar, that might become my new go-to guitar after I get it restored. Well, guys, I think we're going to call it a night tonight. I think we kind of proved a point tonight. We went over tube amps versus modelers and how YouTube interprets it and how different they sound and how much how much are you actually going to hear the difference when they're in the mix. I think we did a pretty good job of that tonight, and I believe it was a fair comparison because the HX Stomp is stereo going into the interface, and I was able to get my stereo amplifier mic'd up in stereo so you can actually hear both in stereo. And this week I'll try to tweak the HX Stomp and put a little bit more effects in it and see if I can get it a little closer to the rack unit, because you guys are right, it needs a little bit more effect, on the chain to get it to sound more like my rack. I think I can get it. Listening to the headphones and everything, I think I can get the two to sound almost identical. I really can. But again, I want to thank everybody that has come by and sat in the chat, especially you guys that have hung in there for 3 hours. Every time I do this, it blows my mind that people come and they stay and they chill out and they chat and they talk and they contribute and they just love just sitting here and talking music. It blows my mind. I mean, I love it. I love having the opportunity to even host this for you guys so you guys can come in here and talk. And hopefully I'm entertaining enough and it gets the night and everyone has a spot to hang out. That's what it's for. And I want to thank everyone that's hit the like button. And if you're in here just chilling out, I don't remember if I had subscriber mode only on or not. But if you're watching and it is on subscriber mode, you haven't hit the button just because you want to type but you haven't hit the button. I work very hard for subscriptions, and we do detailed reviews and other things here. Go down, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. Hit the like button. Trying to grow the channel, push it out for more people so we can build a community that can come and hang out and chill out and talk guitars and music. All right, guys. Hope everyone had a great Saturday night, and I'll see you all. It won't be Friday night. We're going to switch it up next week. We're not going to do Friday and Saturday. I would say everyone look forward to Thursday night. I think we're going to do something on Thursday night and Friday night. We'll try that for a couple weeks and see how it works. But right now, we're going to shoot for Thursday night. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. And like I said, everyone have a great Sunday coming up, and I'll see you all Thursday night. Thanks again.